if you can hear me, you're one of maybe 4,000 people left in this valley who still have working ears and a working reason to keep them open. My name is Daniel Ruiz. I'm not with the government. I'm not with FEMA. I want to be clear about that up front. Because the automated voice you've been hearing on this frequency for 6 days, the one telling you to shelter, remain calm, and await instructions, that voice is a recording, and the people who made it are gone. I checked. I drove there. I'll tell you about that later. I'm broadcasting from the back of a produce truck on the ridge road above Cedar Hollow. It's a Tuesday. It's 10 in the morning, and the sun is out. And that matters more than anything else I'm going to say today, so hold on to it. Here is what I know for certain, 1 week after the things came up out of the ground. They don't move in daylight. Not much, not fast. They hunt by sound, but not the way you think. And they are not, as the first report said, insects. I've seen one up close. I'll never be able to unsee it. I'm going to keep this channel open as long as the batteries hold and the sun stays up. I'm going to tell you what's real, correct what isn't, and try to help the people still moving out there make it to nightfall. Do not answer me. Do not key any radio. Not yet. I'll explain why in a minute. Just listen. We're going to get through the daylight together. Let me put the week in order, because the order is the only thing keeping me sane. 8 days ago, everything was normal. I hauled peaches. I have a wife named Corinne, and a daughter named Ellie, and a mortgage, and a truck with a bad alternator. That was my life. I want you to know I had one, so you'll believe me when I tell you the rest. 7 days ago, at 4:11 in the morning, the ground opened. Not everywhere. That's the first thing nobody got right. The news said nationwide, said coordinated, said seismic. It wasn't any of those. It came up along old lines, riverbeds, aquifers, the wet seams underground. If your town sits on water you can't see, it came for you first. If you're on dry rock, high and dry, you had hours. Some of you had a full day. 6 days ago, the cell towers went. Not destroyed, occupied. I'll come back to that because it's important and it's the reason your phone hums when you hold it up. 5 days ago, the highways clouded with cars, and the cars became the worst place to be. And I learned that the hard way, outside Kingman. 4 days ago, I found this truck, this ridge, and this transmitter, which belonged to a man named Walt, who ran a hobby station up here for 30 years. Walt is not here anymore. His equipment is. I know how to use it because my father was a trucker before me and taught me to talk on the CB when I was 9. 3 days ago, I stopped counting the dead. 2 days ago, I started counting the living instead. Yesterday, I got a plan. Today, I'm going to share it. Stay with me. Before anything else, I need to unteach you a few things, because the wrong information is what's killing people. You were told they swarm. They don't swarm. That was drone footage from the first hour, before anyone understood what they were looking at. What looks like a swarm is one thing moving many parts. Remember that. It changes how you hide. You were told to stay quiet. That's half right, and the half that's wrong is lethal. Total silence doesn't save you. I watched a family hold their breath in a stalled minivan for 6 hours, and it found them anyway, at dusk, without a single sound between them. It's not silence they can't track. It's rhythm. You were told they come at night because they're blind. Wrong again. They come at night because the air is still and cold and carries vibration cleaner. Heat and wind and daytime noise scramble them. The sun doesn't hurt them. It deafens them. There's a difference, and that difference is the only door any of us have. And you were told help is coming. I want to be gentle here, because some of you have kids listening. But I've had the radio scanning every band for 6 days, and I've driven 90 miles in 3 directions. Nobody is coming to this valley. That's not despair. That's information. Because it means we're what's coming. Now let me tell you what they actually are. 4 days ago, in the grain elevator outside Cedar Hollow, I saw one still enough to look at. I'm going to describe it once, plainly, and then I'm going to move on. Because dwelling on it doesn't help you, and it doesn't help me. It was the size of a horse, low to the ground. It had no face, not the way we mean face. Where a face should be, there was a cluster, dozens of small, dark segments packed together, each one twitching on its own. And I understood, standing there, that each segment had once been separate, that the thing was a colony, that what came up out of the ground wasn't one creature repeated a million times. It was a million small things that had learned to hold hands and never let go. Its skin looked wet even in the dry heat. It pulsed, not breathing closer to a crowd, all shifting their weight at once. And along its back were openings, soft and round. And out of those openings came the sound. Not a screech, not a roar, a tone. A single held note, low, the kind you feel in your sternum before you hear it. It was tuning itself to the room, to the corrugated metal, to the grain dust in the air, to me, finding the frequency where everything would ring. That's when I learned the real rule, the one that saved my life. I didn't move slower. I didn't hold my breath. I broke my rhythm. I made myself uneven, shuffled, coughed at the wrong time, dropped a wrench, turned my own body into static. And it lost me. It stood there, tuning, unable to find the clean signal of a scared and steady human heart. Then the sun came through the roof gap, and it went still. I walked out. So here's your first survival rule. And if you learn nothing else today, learn this one. They hunt clean signals. You survive by being noise. A beating heart is a clean signal. Steady footsteps are a clean signal. A car engine idling at constant RPM is the cleanest, loudest, most beautiful signal in the world to them, which is why the highways became graveyards. Anything regular, anything with a beat. You break it by being irregular. Walk in a limp you don't have. Change your pace every few steps. If you have to breathe, breathe raggedly, on purpose. If your heart is pounding and it will be cough, hum off key, shift your weight. Do anything to bury that clean drum beat under mess. The scared, disciplined people who go still and quiet and regular, they're the ones getting taken. The panicked, sloppy, uneven ones are surviving without knowing why. I need you to survive on purpose instead. Be a mess. Be static. Be the one signal they can't lock onto. I know it goes against every instinct. Your body wants to freeze. Override it. Now. The sun's high, they're deaf, and we have work to do. Let's talk about your radio. Take out your phone. Don't turn it on, just hold it. Feel that faint warmth, that low buzz under your thumb, even when the screen is black. That's not your phone. 6 days ago, when the towers went quiet, I thought the network had collapsed. It hadn't. The towers are still standing. They're still transmitting. But something is riding the signal now, and I've spent 4 nights up here on Walt's equipment trying to understand what. And I think I finally do. And I need you to hear it, because it's the second thing that's killing people. They found our frequencies. The colony, the hive, whatever you want to call it, it communicates by vibration, tone. And somewhere in the first 2 days, it reached the towers, the power lines, the copper and the fiber running under every street. And it learned that we had built, all across this country, a nervous system that carries tone at the speed of light. It's using our network to sing to itself. That hum in your phone is a piece of the hive talking to another piece 100 miles away. Your device is a tiny mouth now. And here's the lethal part. The part I watched cost a man his life outside the pharmacy on 3rd Street. If you make a call, if you key a radio, if you send any clean, regular signal into that network, you don't just talk to another person. You tell every one of them, on every tower, exactly where the clean signal came from. You light yourself up. That family in the minivan? Someone's phone was searching for signal, reconnecting every 30 seconds. A clean pulse every 30 seconds for 6 hours. It wasn't their silence that failed them. It was the machine in the glove box, calling out on a schedule as regular as a heartbeat. So here is your second rule. Turn your phone off. all the way off. Right now, I'll wait. Now you're asking the obvious question. If any clean signal lights you up, then how am I talking to you right now? Why hasn't the Hive found this ridge and buried Walt's little station under 100 of those things? Fair question. Took me 2 nights to answer it, and the answer is why I think we have a chance. It's the daylight. During the day, they're deaf. The heat, the wind coming up the valley, the sun on the metal roofs, it all turns the air to mush for them. They can't localize a signal when the world is that loud with warmth. So during the day, and only during the day, I can transmit. At night, I go dark. Completely. No transmission, no light, no motion. I sit in the back of this truck with the batteries disconnected, and I break my own rhythm, and I wait for the sun. That's why this broadcast only comes at daylight hours. If you're hearing me, it's day, and you're safe enough to move. The second reason is the transmitter itself. Walt was old school. This is an analog rig, and I've done something to it. Walt would have hated I've dirtied the signal. I run it rough, uneven, riding a carrier that wanders. To the Hive, I don't sound like a clean voice on a clean channel. I sound like weather, like the crackle between stations, like nothing worth turning toward. I've made this whole broadcast into static that happens to carry words. You can receive it safely because receiving is silent. You take in, you give out nothing. But the moment you transmit back, the moment you key up to answer me, you become a clean voice. So don't. Not yet. I'll tell you when. There'll be a when. I want to tell you about the woman on the county band, because I keep thinking about her. And because her mistake is one I need you to never make. Yesterday morning, 10th hour, sun good and high. I was scanning the way I do listening, never keying. And I caught a voice on the old county emergency frequency. A woman. Calm, trained, the cadence of a dispatcher or a nurse. She was doing everything right in the old world and everything wrong in this one. She was reading a list, names and locations. If anyone can hear this, we have shelter at the Methodist Church on Oak. We have water, we have insulin. Please respond, please respond. Steady, professional, every 15 seconds, clean as a bell. I couldn't warn her. To warn her, I'd have to key up on her frequency, clean, and light us both up. All I could do was listen. She read that list for 2 hours. Beautiful, disciplined, regular. Around noon, another voice came on. A man, ragged, breaking every rule, right, uneven, coughing, sloppy. He'd figured it out. He said, "Lady, stop transmitting. Stop, they hear you. They're coming. Please." And he was smart. He kept his own signal dirty even while he begged. She thanked him, calm. And she said the thing that I can't get out of my head. She said, "I understand, but if I stop, how will anyone find us?" And she kept reading the list. I don't know what happened at the Methodist Church on Oak. I know that by the 3rd hour, her signal changed. Not stopped, changed. The words went away, but the carrier stayed on. A clean tone, holding. And then it wasn't her voice writing it anymore. It was theirs. That tone is still there this morning. I can hear it under everything. On the county band. A held note where a woman used to be. She wanted to be found so badly, she forgot the wrong thing was listening. Don't be found. Be alive. You need to understand what you're doing right now, listening to me, so you can decide if it's worth it. I won't lie to you to keep an audience. Receiving is silent, that's true. Your radio takes in my signal and sends nothing back, and the Hive can't hear a listener. That part is safe. But the speaker is not silent. The sound coming out of your radio, my voice, in the air of whatever room you're hiding in, that's a real vibration in real space. If it's loud, if it's clean, if you've got me cranked up on good speakers echoing off hard walls, you're rebuilding the exact clean signal I've worked so hard to dirty. So turn me down to almost nothing. Ear to the speaker. One earbud, low. Whatever it takes to keep my voice from filling a room and ringing off the walls. And when the sun starts to drop, when the light through your window goes gold and long, turn me off entirely, even if I'm mid-sentence, even if I'm about to say something that sounds important. Nothing I say is worth a clean signal at dusk. I'll be here again in the morning, same rough frequency, same rough voice. You don't owe me your attention. You owe yourself the daylight. That's the whole arrangement. I stay dirty, you stay quiet. We meet in the noise. Now, let me tell you what I found yesterday, because it changes everything. Yesterday I drove down. I know I said not to move at night, and I didn't. I went at first light, dirty and uneven and sick with fear, down into Cedar Hollow to find fuel for these batteries. I found the fuel. I also found the reason the hive came up here at all. There's a spring under Cedar Hollow, feeds the whole town's wells, and around that spring, in the old stone pump house, they've built something. I'm going to describe it carefully because it's the most important thing I've learned all week. It wasn't a nest. It wasn't full of the big colony creatures. It was quiet, and it was hollow. And in the center, where the water came up, there was a single mass up, pale, layered, the size of a car, and it was pulsing in a slow, slow rhythm. Not tuning, not hunting, resting. And every few seconds, it sent out a pulse, a tone so low I felt it in my teeth from 30 feet away, and I understood, standing in that pump house, that this was the source. The thing all the others were listening to. The center of the signal? The queen, if you want a word for it, though it's nothing like a queen. Here's what matters. It was slow. It was soft. It was the least offended thing I've seen all week, because it never expected anything to walk in on a clean set of feet and understand what it was looking at. I walked back out. Dirty, uneven, careful. And I started to think that maybe the reason nobody's coming to save us is that the thing that saves us is down there, sitting on our water, waiting for someone to figure it out. 2 days ago, I told you I stopped counting the dead and started counting the living. Let me tell you how, because you might be on the list. And if you're not, I want to add you. I can't hear you if you don't transmit, and you can't transmit without dying. That's the trap this whole thing runs on, so I had to find another way to know who's out there. Light. At dusk, right before I go dark, I climb to the top of the grain elevator with Walt's binoculars, and I look at the valley, and I count the lights that shouldn't be there. A candle behind a curtain, a flashlight moving wrong, a car dome light left on by someone too scared to reach up and click it off. Every light is a person. Every person is a name I don't know yet. 3 nights ago, I counted 41. 2 nights ago, 38. Last night, 36. The number goes down, and it breaks my heart every single time. But here's the thing I noticed. The thing I've been turning over for 2 days. It's not going down fast. In the first week, in a valley of 11,000 people, we should be looking at a handful of survivors. We're not. We're looking at dozens holding steady, losing 1 or 2 a night, which means most of you have figured out the rhythm rule on your own. Your bodies did it for you. The steady, disciplined, brave ones are gone. The messy, scared, uneven, human ones are still here. That's not a small thing. That's the shape of who survives this. It's not the strong. It's not the calm. It's not the prepared. It's the ones who couldn't hold still if they tried. So if you've been ashamed all week of your shaking hands, your ragged breathing, the way you can't stop fidgeting, the way you cried and couldn't stop, I need you to hear me. That's the reason you're alive. Your falling apart is the exact thing that saved you. Now let's use it. I have to tell you about one of the lights. I've been putting it off for 6 days, and I can't anymore. The night the ground opened, I wasn't home. I was 300 miles out with a load of peaches. Corinne, my wife, and Ellie, my daughter, she's 9, they were home. Home is Cedar Hollow. Home is right on top of that spring. I drove all night to get back, breaking every law that still existed. And by the time I reached the ridge, the town was gone quiet in the way I now know to fear. I couldn't drive in. The roads into the hollow were solid with stalled cars, and every car was a graveyard, and it was near dark. And I'm ashamed to tell you I stopped on this ridge because I was too afraid to go down into the dark. I have spent every dawn since going down as far as I dare, and coming back before the light gets long. 4 nights ago, from the top of the elevator, I found a light I know. 2nd floor, east window, my house. A green glow. Ellie's turtle nightlight. The one shaped like a turtle that throws stars on the ceiling. She's had it since she was 2, and she still won't sleep without it. And I've told her 100 times she's too old for it. And thank God, she never listened to me. It comes on every night at dark. It goes off every morning at light. Which means someone in that house is turning it off and on. Which means someone in that house is alive and smart enough to run dark by day and only light up when the hive is deaf. I can't call her. If I key up, I light up her whole neighborhood. But she's alive, 9 years old, alone, or with her mother, in a house on top of the very spring where the source is resting. And 2 days ago, that's when I got a plan. Here's the plan. I'm going to say all of it, out loud, on this broadcast, because if it works, you deserve to know how. And if it doesn't, someone smarter than me should be able to finish it. The source under Cedar Hollow is the center of the signal. Everything else, the colony creatures, the tone in your phones, the held note where the dispatcher used to be, all of it comes from that pale, resting mass on the spring. I'm nearly sure of it because when I stood in that pump house, the hum from the source and the hum in the phone lines were the same note. The exact same note. It's conducting. And every one of them is following the beat. Now, they hunt clean signals and ignore dirty ones. The source broadcasts the cleanest signal of all that perfect, low, endless tone. It's the metronome the whole hive marches to. So here's the idea I can't stop thinking about. What happens if I make the metronome skip? Not destroy it. I don't think I can destroy it. And I don't think destroying it does what we'd want, kill the conductor, and maybe the whole orchestra just goes feral and hunts by instinct, worse than before. No. I want to dirty it. I want to walk into that pump house at high noon, when it's resting and deaf and slow. And I want to put a sound into it. A rough one. An uneven one. A signal so messy it can't be ignored, played right into the center of the thing that keeps the beat. I want to teach the whole hive to stutter. I want to make them all as broken and human as we are. And if a broken hive can't hold its rhythm, it can't hold its shape. That's the theory. Here's the hard part. The hard part is that I can't do it from here. Walt's transmitter is beautiful and it's dirty, and it reaches the whole valley. But it puts sound into the air as radio, not as vibration in stone and water. The source doesn't listen to radio the way you do. It listens to the ground, to the wet seams, to the physical shudder of the world. To dirty the source, I have to put a real sound, a real vibration, into the water it's resting on. Up close, in the pump house, at noon, when it's slow. And I have to do it in a way that doesn't get me killed by every colony creature within a mile the second I make a clean noise walking in. I've been working on this for 2 days, and I think I have it. I have Walt's spare speaker, the big PA horn he used for the county fair, and a car battery and a recorder. And on that recorder, I've made the messiest, most uneven, most broken sound I could build. It's not music. It's not a tone. It's the opposite of a tone. It stutters, it drops, it jumps, it never repeats. It is 30 minutes of pure static with the soul of a panic attack. I'm going to carry that horn down into the pump house at noon. I'm going to seat it against the stone right over the water. And I'm going to play my broken sound directly into the spring, loud enough to reach the whole underground network the hive is using to keep time. And then I'm going to run, dirty and uneven, all the way back up to the light. I don't know if it'll work. I know that if it doesn't, I'll have made a very clean, very loud sound in the deepest, wettest, most dangerous place in the valley. But there's a reason it has to be me. There's a reason it has to be me, and it's not bravery. I want to be honest with you about that, because I've heard enough brave voices go silent this week. It has to be me, because the pump house is under my house. Because the source is resting on the same spring that feeds the well in my kitchen. Because 40 feet above that pale, pulsing mass, my 9-year-old daughter turns on a turtle nightlight every night to tell the dark she's still here. If I go down there and play my broken sound and it works, if the hive stutters and loses its shape, then whatever is packed into that source, all those small things holding hands, they lose their grip. On the beat, on each other, on the whole valley. And maybe, if I've got any of this right. Ellie walks out. If I don't go, she stays a light in a window that goes out one night and doesn't come back on. So it's not brave, it's just math. It's the only version of this where I get to be her father again, instead of a voice on a ridge counting her light every evening. I'm telling you all of this on air for a selfish reason too. If it works, I need witnesses. I need the 36 lights in this valley to know it can be done, so that in the next valley and the next, someone builds a broken sound of their own and carries it down to their own spring. That's the only plan I've got for a country, one dirty signal at a time. But first, this valley. First, that pump house. First, tomorrow at noon. I need to interrupt the plan, because last night, something changed, and I have to tell you about it in order, and I have to stay calm while I do, so give me a second. I went dark at dusk like always. Batteries disconnected, truck sealed, me in the back, breaking my rhythm, waiting for morning. Around what I think was 2 in the morning, I heard it. The tone, the source's note. But it wasn't coming from down in the hollow anymore. It was coming from everywhere. From the ground under the truck. From the metal of the truck itself. The whole ridge was humming that low, endless note, and I understood, lying there in the dark with my heart trying to give me away, that the hive had done something new. It had reached the ridge. 6 days it stayed down in the wet seams, in the hollow, along the rivers. Last night it climbed the dry rock. It found the spring line that runs up here under Walt's property. There's a well. I should have thought about the well, and it came up. It's spreading, not fast, but it's learning to live on ground it couldn't reach a week ago. Every night it climbs a little higher, a little drier, and the deaf daytime window I've been counting on, the still safe hours I timed it this morning. It's shorter. The sun came up at the same time, but the hum didn't stop when the light hit. It faded, it went deaf like always, but it took an extra 40 minutes past dawn to do it. And I'd bet everything I have left that at dusk it'll wake 40 minutes early, which means my safe daylight is shrinking by more than an hour a day. Which means my window to walk into that pump house at slow, deaf noon is closing faster than I thought. Which means I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm going today. I'm going to finish this broadcast, and I'm going to load the horn and the battery and the broken sound into the truck. And at 11, I'm going to drive down into Cedar Hollow while the sun's still high enough to keep them slow. I need you to do something for me first. Here's what I need. And it's the first time all week I've asked you to do anything but hide. At noon, exactly noon. By whatever clock you trust, I need every one of you in this valley to make noise. Not clean noise, not a signal. The opposite. I need you to bang on things. Offbeat, uneven. I need you to drag chairs, drop pots, cough, shout at nothing, stomp out of rhythm, knock a broom handle against the wall in no pattern at all. I need 36 houses full of broken, ragged, human racket, all at once, all different, none of it matching. I need you to fill this whole valley with static. Because when I play my broken sound into the spring, the hive is going to try to find the source of the disruption. It's going to try to lock onto the one clean thing making trouble. And I don't want it to find me down in that pump house. I want it to find a valley that's become one enormous mess. 36 sources of noise, none of them clean, none of them steady, no single signal to march toward. I want to hide the one broken sound that matters inside a whole valley of broken sounds. The sun will be high. They'll be slow and half-deaf. And if we time it right, if we all fall apart at exactly the same moment, we make ourselves impossible to read. I know what I'm asking. I'm asking you to break the one rule that's kept you alive as silence for exactly 1 hour in broad daylight, all together. It only works if we do it together. Noon. Make yourself into noise. Don't stop until the sun starts going gold. I'll be down there the whole time listening for you. Be loud, be ugly, be human. I'm keeping this channel open in the truck. I've got the mic clipped to my collar and the rig running off the second battery, and I'm going to talk to you the whole way down, because if this is the last transmission, then somebody should hear how it ended. And because honestly, your voices in my head are the only thing keeping my own hands steady enough to drive. I'm on the Ridge Road now. Sun's high, 11:40. The valley's spread out below me, and it looks almost normal. That's the cruel part. From up here, you'd never know. Green fields, white houses, the water tower with the town's name on it. You'd think you could just drive down and buy a coffee. Then you see the cars. The roads into town are rivers of stopped cars. And I'm not taking the roads. I'm taking the old orchard track, the dirt one, the one no clean-driving human would ever use. And I'm driving it rough on purpose, riding the ruts, letting the engine surge and drop, keeping my own machine as uneven as I can. There's one on the field to my right, a colony creature, big one. It's okay. Stay calm. It's not moving toward me. It's turned toward the sun, low and flat, the way I saw the first one go still in the grain elevator. The heat's got it slow. It knows something's wrong. I can see the segments on its back twitching, tuning, trying to hear through the daytime mush, but it can't find me. The truck's too rough, the sun's too loud. I'm past it. There's the edge of town. There's the Baptist church. There's the school where Ellie went where she'll go again. 11:50. I can see my street. I can see my house. And the east window on the second floor, I can't see the nightlight. It's daytime. But I know it's there. And I know she's there. 40 feet above the thing I'm about to walk in on. Almost noon. Get ready. It's noon. I'm out of the truck. I've got the horn on my shoulder and the battery in a pack and the recorder in my fist. And I'm walking down the alley behind my own house toward the pump house. And I'm walking wrong, dragging my feet, humming garbage under my breath, and... You're doing it. I can hear you. The whole valley just came apart at the seams. Somewhere off to the east, somebody's banging a pot like they hate it. Behind me, a car alarm. Somebody set off on purpose, whooping and irregular. A dog. Someone let a dog go, and it's barking its head off. Voices. Somebody's screaming just to scream. It's the ugliest, most beautiful sound I have ever heard in my life. You made a valley of static. And the hive, I can feel it in the ground. That tone, wavering now, confused, swinging back and forth trying to find one clean thing in a world that just became all mess. I'm at the pump house door. Stone, cold. The hum coming off it is so strong my teeth hurt. I'm inside. There it is, the source. Pale, layered, the size of a car, pulsing slow on the water. Deaf and slow with the noon heat and drowning in the noise you're all making. I'm setting the horn against the stone lip over the spring. I'm connecting the battery. My hands are shaking so bad. Good. Good. Shaking is right. Shaking is human. I've got the recorder against the horn's input. I want you to keep making noise. Whatever happens in the next 30 seconds, do not stop until the sun goes gold. Promise me, stay ugly, stay loud. The source it shifted. The segments all turned at once. It heard the horn touch the stone. It knows something clean is about to happen right on top of it. It's tuning. It's finding me. I've got my thumb on the recorder. Corinne, Ellie, if you can hear this somehow. I'm playing it now. I'm playing it. The horn's going. 30 minutes of pure engineered chaos pouring straight down into the water, into the stone, into the wet seams that run under this whole valley. And I can feel it. I can feel the broken sound going into the ground like cold water into a burn. The source is God. It's reacting. The pulse just broke. That slow, steady beat it's kept for a week. The metronome the whole hive marches to. It just stuttered. It's trying to find its rhythm again. And it can't. Because my sound keeps changing, keeps dropping out, keeps jumping, never lets it lock on. It's like watching someone try to clap along to no song at all. The segments on its surface, they're not moving together anymore. They're twitching out of sync. The whole mass is shuddering. And the tone coming off it is wobbling, splitting, going rough. And outside, listen the ground. The hum on the ridge, the hum in your phones, the held note where the dispatcher used to be. I can hear it through the walls and it's all coming apart. The whole hive lost the beat at once. Something big just moved in the field. Then something crashed. I think one of them fell. Just fell. Lost its shape. Keep the horn going. 28 minutes left on the recording. I'm backing toward the door, but I'm leaving it playing. The source is coming apart in front of me. The layers they're separating. All those small things that learn to hold hands are letting go. And they don't know how to be one thing anymore. And they don't remember how to be a million small things either. It's working. I'm going up the stairs. I'm going to get my daughter. I'm in the house. I came up the cellar stairs into my own kitchen, and it's exactly how we left it. Corinne's coffee cup in the sink. Ellie's drawing on the fridge. A turtle, of course, a turtle. The everyday ordinary wreckage of a life that got interrupted at 4:11 in the morning 8 days ago. The horn's still going below me. I can feel the broken sound coming up through the floor. And through the walls I can hear the valley still tearing itself apart with your beautiful noise. Don't stop. Please don't stop. Ellie? I'm calling it soft and rough, off rhythm. Ellie, it's Dad. It's Dad. Corinne? Nothing. Living room, empty. Cushions off the couch, built into a fort. She built a fort. She's 9. She built a fort while the world ended. And that is the most Ellie thing I can imagine, and it's breaking me in half. I'm going up. The stairs. Every one of them I know by the creak. Second step from the top's the loud one, and I don't even try to be quiet. Quiet's the enemy now. I go up loud and uneven. The hallway, her door, the turtle nightlight. It's daytime. It's off. But it's there on the dresser. I can see it through the crack in the door. The door's shut. There's a chair under the handle. From the inside, someone barricaded this room from the inside. Which means someone's in there. Which means someone was smart enough, scared enough, human enough, to jam a chair under a handle and turn a nightlight on at dark. And off at dawn for 8 days. Directly above the thing at the center of the whole nightmare. I'm knocking, rough, offbeat. 3, then 1, then 2. Nothing clean. Ellie, baby. It's Dad. It's really Dad. I drove all night. I've been on the ridge. I've been watching your nightlight. I saw it every night. I'm here. There's a sound behind the door. A small sound. A voice. Dad? That's her. That's her voice. Thin and cracked and terrified and 9 years old and alive. That's my daughter's voice. It's me. It's me, baby. I'm here. Open the door. It's okay to be loud now. I promise. Being loud is safe right now. I'll explain everything. Just move the chair. The chair scrapes. The door opens. And there she is. I'm not going to be able to describe this part well. She's smaller than I remember, which makes no sense. It's been 8 days. She's got a kitchen knife in one hand and a flashlight in the other. And she's wearing 3 shirts because it gets cold at night. And she figured that out alone. Her hair's a disaster. Her face is filthy. Her eyes are enormous. And she looks at me like she's not sure I'm real. Like maybe the thing under the house learned to sound like her father. And God help me, that's the smartest fear a person could have. And I'm so proud of her for having it that I can't breathe. So I don't grab her. I stay in the doorway, I do the thing only her dad would do. I hum the stupid song, the one from when she was little, the peach truck song I made up on the road, off-key, terrible, hours. And her face just crumples. Dad. She's in my arms. The knife clatters on the floor. She's shaking, and I'm shaking, and we're two broken, uneven human signals holding on to each other 40 feet above a thing that's coming apart because it could never learn to break the way we can. Where's your mom? I ask it, and I already know from her face. She went for water, Ellie says into my shirt. Day 2, she said stay. She said keep the light. She never came back. I'm going to keep this on the air. I promised you the whole thing, the good and the bad, and this is the bad. Corinne went for water on the second morning. She told our daughter to stay in the room, barricade the door, turn the light on at night so she'd know Ellie was okay. Off in the morning so nothing would find her. She figured out the whole rule book in a day and a half, and she used it to save Ellie, and she walked out into it to get water they'd need to survive. She didn't come back. Ellie kept the light. 8 days. On at dark, off at dawn. Not because she still thought her mom was coming. She told me she said it so simply, it took the top of my head off. She kept the light on for her mom. In case she's out there and needs to know which house is ours. My wife taught my daughter how to survive the end of the world in 36 hours, and then spent herself doing the one human thing you're not supposed to do anymore. She went to help. She went for water for her kid. I don't know if she's a held note somewhere on some frequency now. I've stopped scanning for voices I love. That's not a searchable thing. That's a thing I carry. I'm telling you because some of you are keeping a light for someone too. And I want you to know it's not stupid. It's not weak. It's the most human thing there is. But I also want you to hear the other half. Ellie's alive. Corinne's the reason. Keep the light. But keep the kid. Something's happening outside and I need to look. I've got Ellie on my hip. She's 9. She's too big to carry. I'm carrying her anyway. I'll carry her the rest of my life if she lets me. And we're at the east window, her window. And I'm looking out at the valley. The noise is dying down. Not yours. Yours is still going. Ragged and glorious. 36 houses of static. I mean theirs. The hum is gone. That low, endless note that's been under everything for a week. In the ground, in the phones, in my teeth. It's gone. The horn in the pump house did what I hoped, and I can hear it in the silence where the tone used to be. And out in the fields, the colony creatures I can see 3 from here. They're not moving right. One's just still, collapsed, coming apart into a dark, spreading pile. One's turning in a slow circle like a dog that's forgotten what it was chasing. And one is just walking. Away, west, slow and aimless and alone. Its segments no longer twitching in time. A million small things that let go of each other and can't remember how to be a whole. They lost the conductor. They lost the beat. And without the beat, they don't know how to be one thing anymore. They're not dying, most of them. They're just dispersing, going small again, going back into whatever ground they came up from, one confused piece at a time. The horn's still playing down there. 20 minutes left. I'm going to let it run to the end. I'm going to let it play that broken human sound into the water until the last of the rhythm is gone. The sun's still high. We have time. For the first time in a week, we have time. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's over. I don't know what happens tonight. I broke the source, but I don't know if it stays broken. I don't know if the small things, given a night of stillness, learn to hold hands again and find a new beat. I don't know if there's another source, in another hollow, in another valley, on another spring. There almost certainly is. This valley was never the whole country. It was just mine. I don't know if Corinne is out there. I've decided to keep a light on anyway. I don't know if the thing in your phones is gone or just quiet. So keep them off a while longer. Trust the silence, not me. Here's what I do know. They can be broken. Not with weapons, with mess, with the exact quality we've been ashamed of all week. Our shaking, our raggedness, our inability to hold still and stay calm and keep the beat. The thing that came up out of the ground was perfect and coordinated, and it marched in time, and we beat it. This valley beat it. With static and pot banging, and a dog, and a broken recording, and a 9-year-old who couldn't stop building a fort. We didn't beat it by being strong. We beat it by being human, which mostly means by being a beautiful mess. Hold on to that. You're going to need it in the next valley over. The sun's going gold. Almost time to go dark. Before the light goes, I want to leave a set of instructions, plain and in order, for whoever's downwind of this, the next valley, the next town, the next person who finds a dirty transmitter and a reason to use it. Copy this down. Say it out loud to the people you're hiding with. Make them memorize it. 1. They hunt clean, steady, repeating signals. Heartbeats, engines, silence held too long, radios keyed on a schedule. You survive by being uneven. Limp when you're not hurt. Breathe raggedly. Bury your own rhythm in mess. 2. Turn off your phones, all the way off. They ride our network to talk to each other. And any clean signal you send lights you up on every tower at once. Do not call, do not answer. Do not let a device search for signal on a schedule. 3. They go deaf in daylight, in heat and wind and sun. That window is your only safe time to move, and it's shrinking as they learn to climb onto dry ground. Use the middle of the day. Don't trust dawn or dusk. 4. There's a source. Find the water. A spring, a well, an aquifer. The wettest, deepest place near where they came up. That's where the conductor rests, slow and half-deaf at noon. 5. You don't kill it. You dirty it. You put a broken, uneven, unrepeating sound into the water it rests on. Loud, up close, at noon. While your whole town makes static to cover you. You teach the hive to lose the beat. A hive that can't keep time, can't keep its shape. 6, and this is the most important one, so listen. You don't need to be brave. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to be calm. You just need to be a mess. This part's for one specific kind of person, and you know if it's you. You're keeping a light for someone who went out and didn't come back. A husband, a daughter, a mother who went for water on the second morning. You turn it on at dark so that they'll know which house is yours, and every night it goes unanswered. And every morning you turn it off and hate yourself a little for hoping. I want to tell you something my daughter taught me an hour ago. Sitting in her room with a knife she was ready to use on her own father. Keeping the light isn't weakness. It isn't denial. It's the last working piece of the old world, the part of us that says a person is worth waiting for, worth being findable for, worth the risk of a small glow in a dark window. That instinct, the one that says, go help, stay findable, wait for the people you love, the hive weaponized it. It turned our best parts into bait. That's the cruelest thing about all of this. But don't let it make you stop keeping lights. Just be smart about it. Light at night when they're deaf, dark by day. And keep the kid, if there's a kid. Keep the living, whatever it costs the hoping. Ellie kept the light for her mom. I'm keeping it too now. Some doors you leave a light on for anyway. The sun's going. I can see it from Ellie's window, dropping behind the west ridge, and the light in this room's gone gold and long, which means the deaf hours are ending. And the hive, what's left of it, scattered and small and beatless, is about to wake up into whatever it is now. We're not staying in the house. The pump house is right underneath us, and I don't trust the quiet down there yet. We're going back up to the ridge, to the truck, to the dark, and the disconnected batteries, and the routine that's kept me alive for a week. Ellie's coming with me, obviously. She's already got Walt's binoculars around her neck. She wants to count the lights tonight. She said, and I'm quoting my 9-year-old exactly, so we know who's still here. So we know who's still here. We're going to go dark in about 10 minutes. I'll disconnect this rig and we'll sit in the truck in the black. And break our rhythm together and wait for the sun, like I have every night. Except tonight I won't be alone. I've been alone on this ridge for 6 days, talking to a valley I couldn't see. Tonight, I've got my daughter. I don't have words for what that is. I'm not going to try to find them. I'm going to sign off now. But I want to be clear about what this is, because I've heard too many last transmissions this week, and I refuse to make another one. This is not goodbye. The sun comes up tomorrow around 6. I'll wait for the hive to go deaf. 40 minutes past dawn now, maybe more. And then I'll reconnect this rough old rig, and I'll be right back here on this same dirty frequency at the same daylight hours. I'll tell you what the night looked like. I'll count the lights with Ellie, and I'll tell you the number. And if it went up instead of down, and I think it might, tonight, I really do. I'll tell you that first thing. We're going to do this every day. Daylight only. Dirty signal only. Me and whoever's out there. We're going to hold the daylight together until there's enough of us awake in it to take back the dark. So don't touch your radio tonight. Sleep ugly. Sleep uneven. I'll see you at dawn, okay? Sun's below the ridge. Light's almost gone. Ellie's in the passenger seat with her mom's jacket around her shoulders. She found it in the truck. I didn't even know it was there. And she's watching the valley for the first light of the night. I'm reaching for the battery disconnect. Before I pull it, one last thing. And I mean this with everything I've got left. You made it 8 days. Most of the strong didn't. Most of the calm didn't. Most of the brave, disciplined, silent, steady people are held notes on dead frequencies now. You made it because you're a mess. Because you shook and cried and couldn't hold still and kept a light on for someone who wasn't coming back. That's not your weakness. That's the whole reason you're alive. Stay that way, going dark. See you in the daylight.